Hello and welcome to this video. This video that I'm making is about the Worx 24V Intellicut series lawnmower and the 24V PowerTank batteries that came with them. As many of you know who may have a older Worx lawnmower that took these PowerTank batteries, Worx has pretty much discontinued making them. And over time, these batteries stop holding charge, and eventually they become useless. This battery that I have here pretty much would cover my front lawn and most of my back lawn, but I actually have two of these to be able to do both front and back all together in one sitting. But now this battery is starting to degrade to the point where I can barely do the front lawn, and even the other battery can only hold enough charge to maybe do part of the back lawn. So if any one of you has looked on the Worx website, the newer lawnmowers that they have are modified to work with their PowerShare batteries, which I also have Worx tools, and so I already have many of these 2 amp batteries. But the lawnmowers that they have are using the 4 amp batteries, and apparently they also make 6 amp batteries as well as 8 amp batteries. So this is the battery that I just purchased recently. This is the 20V PowerShare 4 amp battery. Now, my idea is that I was going to modify the charger connector for this and try to use this battery to use this battery to replace the lead acid component inside this battery. Now, even though these batteries, are 24 volts, there's not much difference between 20 and 24 volts. And I actually saw another YouTube video where there was a guy who actually used a Ryobi battery that's 18 volts to power his Worx WG700 series lawnmower. I believe he had the 787 lawnmower, but in any case, it will work with these 20-volt PowerShare batteries. But the problem is there's really, I haven't seen any type of modification being done, or Worx even offering a modified battery like this, or case like this case, that would accept their 20-volt PowerShare batteries. So I realized that I had to make my own. So what I decided to do, I actually wasn't sure what all of these connectors on this battery were, but as you can see, the two outer connectors are negative and positive. That's where your 20-volt output comes from. And then you have these other connectors in the middle with T, BH, VCC, and BS. And what I was able to find out is that those connectors are basically for the charger when the battery is charging, to help it charge the individual cells correctly. So those really aren't that important as far as output. So the only two connectors are the negative and the positive. So as I was searching Google, and you can probably do that too, or I'll leave a link in the subject section for that, I actually found this little handy dandy thing that someone already made, and you can find these on eBay, This one I bought off of a seller on Etsy. Actually, this is a 3D printed uh, adapter. And as you can see, it has just the negative and the positive out. So what I'm going to do is I have two of these, which I am going to connect in parallel with each other. That way you can use two batteries to multiply, or actually double, the power. So right now I have just this one 4 amp battery, but I have a slew of these 2 amp batteries. So putting the 2 amp and the 4 amp together would give me 6 amps total. So hopefully that would be enough to get me through the front lawn and hopefully through most of the back lawn. And then I also have two more 2 amp batteries for 4 amps total, which hopefully would give me enough power to maybe finish up the back lawn. So basically what I'm going to do here, as you can see here, the terminal, looks like it's just a disconnect for the main output here. This is where these two cells are connected together. Essentially, from the way it looks, these two cells are 12 volts here, and they're connected in series with each other, which doubles the voltage. So that's where you get your 24 volts out. But the reason I'm wanting to use this case is because this case, as you can see, is already ready to drop into the lawnmower. And so the only thing I needed, or the only thing you would need, is to take this out and be able to replace it with these. And hopefully it should work, get you through cutting your lawn, and hopefully will keep your lawnmower going, working for you in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and do the modification on this, and I will be back with you in a minute. Okay, so after a little bit of finagling, I was able to finally remove the lead acid battery. As you can see, it's actually two batteries and not just one battery. So each battery is obviously 12 volts, and they were connected together in series. I basically just wound up cutting off all of the wire connectors, and I'm assuming that this part is a diode, probably to stop reverse voltage or something. But in any case, that being removed, this is the final modification here. As you can see, I have both batteries now connected together, and these are my little adapters that they're connected to, and I have it plugged into my voltmeter, and they're reading 20.54 volts together. Now, because they're combined in parallel, that means their combined output amperage is approximately 6 amps. So hopefully we'll see when I go to mow my lawn how far this gets me and before it runs out of power. Hopefully it runs a lot better than the lead acid batteries, but like I said, I have about 4 of these batteries, so hopefully I'll be able to do my entire lawn switching out, between the 4 batteries. So I will let you know in the next segment. Okay, so now I am outside. This is actually, I didn't show how I had all of this wired up in the last segment. As you can see, both of the connectors, the adapters, I mean, are connected. I soldered basically the wires all together, the positive to the positives and the negatives to the negatives. It's very simple. It's simple parallel connections. So, and like I said, with parallel connections, you share the same voltage, but it multiplies or doubles the current. So basically the current from one and the current from the other battery are basically going to add to each other. So, and let's see if it works in our lawnmower. Okay, so this is how it looks inside the lawnmower. So let's go ahead and power it on and see what we get. Well, that sounds like it works. Now, the other thing too is that this thing has two settings. It has the full power mode and of course the Intellicut quiet mode. So the Intellicut quiet mode actually conserves more power and allows you to get more out of it. So probably we'll see. I'll probably just keep it on the full power mode and see how much I can get through that, and I will see how far we get with that. Okay, so this is what the lawn looks like now, and we will see what it looks like afterwards. Okay, so just went through the lawn here, took it about maybe 10 minutes at the most, but as you can see, pretty much did the entire front lawn. And you can see that the lawn that I have is, small, but it's, not really small. But went through the entire lawn, and it actually still has quite a bit of power left, it seems. So, and the beauty of using these PowerShare batteries is that you can just pull one out and put it into your hedge trimmer, which I'm going to do at the tree there, and finish up the parts that, the lawnmower couldn't get. So it seems like this works pretty fine. So, and of course, if you have two high capacity batteries, you'll probably get even more power out of it, of course. But for the most part, I think this works. So, not to pardon the pun, but okay, so now that we've done the front lawn, I'm going to attempt to do my back lawn here. And as you can see, the back lawn is much bigger than the front lawn, of course. So we'll see how far this Worx modification on this battery gets me from doing the front lawn to my back lawn. Okay, well, unfortunately it didn't get very far. The lawnmower is definitely running out of power, even though the mower is still going. However, as I looked at the power meter on my high capacity battery, you can clearly see it's down to maybe 2 bars out of 3. So it still has power, but that means that my smaller battery here is running out of power. Now, fueling the batteries, they're not hot, so that's a good thing, which means that, they're discharging the way they're designed to do, and they're not overheating or anything like that. So I will change out the smaller battery and see what happens. Okay, so changing out the smaller battery didn't help much. It still pretty much is, doesn't have much power left in the configuration, and it's probably, because of the larger battery has gone down in overall power. So I could switch out that one for one of my other 2 amp batteries and try to finish up, but at this point I'm just going to go ahead and put in my other battery, which still has at least some charge, as you can see here. So, but getting a higher capacity battery, having 2 high capacity batteries in here would probably definitely get you a lot more further. Excuse me. So, but otherwise it seems to work pretty fine with the configuration that it's in. I mean, this 20 volt batteries are actually a pretty good substitute for the 25 volt battery that was there. And I hope this helps someone. And, you know, like I said, if you want to make this modification to your battery, you can. The adapters are online, either at eBay or Etsy. And I'll see if I can leave a link to the Google search that I used at in the comments of the subject section. So you can just quickly go to, you know, find which one you want to purchase for yourself, or two or three. So, and they have other adapters too for different other types of batteries. It's not just for Worx. So, like I said, I hope this helps. So I recharged the 4 amp battery, and my wife actually went out and finished the backyard. You know, the 4 amp battery, if you don't have one of Worx's newer high fast chargers, it will take you forever to charge this bad boy up. I have my original charger for this battery, which came with the 2 amp batteries that I have, which, you know, even with those, it takes, you know, a couple of hours to fully charge these 2 amp batteries. But with this 4 amp battery, it takes double the time. So, and even though at the time it was only down 1 bar, it still took it about almost maybe 3 hours to charge. So, and you know, it actually took about 6 hours to fully charge when I actually got the battery, because it was actually only at 1 bar. So basically it's about 3 hours per bar. So if your battery is fully depleted and it's 3 bars for this thing, basically you're looking at almost maybe 8 to 9 hours to charge it. You know, so it probably pays to buy one of their quick chargers, which I think cuts that time down to half, if I believe. I'm not sure because I haven't looked much into them, but I did see them on Worx's website and actually on Amazon. So, and you know, she went out and finished, and you know, now it's down to 1 bar. So so that's going to take a couple hours to recharge. Now, one thing that I will say is that, you know, I think if you want to hold on to your original Worx WG700 series lawnmowers, this is probably going to be the, you know, one of the best fixes, I guess, if you want to say that. It's probably going to be the best thing that you could do to get more out of your lawnmower, especially if it's working. I mean, look, if your lawnmower is still working, there's no reason to buy a new one. I know, you know, a lot of manufacturers hate it when you put videos out like this of fixes and stuff. But look, but the one thing you will have to buy are the batteries. So, you know, you still have to buy the batteries in order to keep it working. These batteries on Worx website, I think the last time I looked, they were about $100 each for the 4 amp batteries, and I think it goes up maybe about $20 or $30 more for each amperage up. So the 6 amp battery, I believe, was like 130, and then the 8 amp battery, I think it was like 160, something like that. However, I actually got this battery off of Amazon, because Worx apparently has I think they have a site on Amazon, if I believe, is where I got this from. But on Amazon, this was actually only $60 or $60+. So, you know, and they do have, and you know, they did actually have a couple of off-brand Worx batteries, but this was actually the original, actually Worx brand battery. So I went ahead and got that for $60, 60 plus dollars, you know. And I think on this particular listing, it also offered the pay in 4 plan where you pay like 20 something dollars over the next 4 months. So again, if you don't have the 60 bucks on you at the time, then you could do something like that. So, you know, there's many ways of getting these batteries or getting even the higher capacity batteries, but definitely if you have a lawn like anywhere around the size of mine, you probably want to get at least 2 of these, which is basically what they're doing now with their lawnmowers anyway. They're offering, you know, 2 of these 4 amp batteries to go along with your thing. So the other thing is that these lead acid batteries you need to dispose of properly. So the lead acid components, this lead acid component, you definitely need to dispose of properly, which means not throwing it away in your garbage. It needs to be taken to any place that, you know, sells batteries, like AutoZone, or, you know, any car parts store. Batteries Plus, I believe, will probably take them. So, you know, and it's, you know, per the EPA, it's actually against the law to just throw them away in the trash. So, and I will leave links in, try to leave a link in the subject section of where you can find the batteries, and Google search for the adapters and things like that. So I hope this helps.